Hey, what's up, you guys? Bananda here. I'm sorry about the horrible lighting and how I look horrible. Like I said, I just woke up. No lights are on because I'm here by myself and I don't want to get up. I haven't want to get up at all today. I was supposed to clean the room. I picked up some trash, but I haven't really done anything. So we're on day 14 of, what's this called? 30 Days of Kink. I have to actually think about that. Okay, day 14. How would you say real life BDSM kink varies from fantasy BDSM kink? If you haven't experienced real life BDSM kink, how do you think it might differ? Um, I've done both real life and like texting back and forth BDSM. And I've done fantasy BDSM. Well, like not fantasy, but I've like watched people in like 50 Shades of Grey, which if you're into BDSM and you like 50 Shades of Grey, it's not 50 Shades of Grey is nothing compared to real BDSM. I'm sorry to inform you, because that's when all the kids jumped on the BDSM bandwagon, is when 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades Darker, I don't know, they were really stupid. I watched somewhat of it and it was like, this is not BDSM. But how real life and fantasy BDSM. Well, real life BDSM is more, in my opinion, more real, because everything has to be 100% consensual. You always have to ask your partner. You constantly have to make sure that everything you're doing is okay with both parties. You can't sit there and act like, oh, this is my submissive, I can do whatever the fuck I want with this person. That's not how it works. And in fantasy BDSM, usually there's no consent whatsoever, and if there is consent, it's very small amount of consent, and they go over the consent that they were originally allowed to have, or they do things that the person didn't say, oh, I'm into that, or because they don't really have the talking points that you're supposed to have with your submissive. You're supposed to talk about the things that they're okay with. Like, when you get in a relationship with another person that's in the BDSM community, or even with someone that's not originally in the BDSM community, you have to talk about someone's stuff. Like, I don't know, like your partner is into very outlandish things that you don't feel comfortable with, but you're willing to try those things, and you both do the research on it, or you do the research by yourself. You start figuring out, like, oh, well, I like doing this, will I not like this? Pooza, stop. And kind of figuring out what you're okay with, what you're not okay with. Stop it. And just kind of, there's just zero to no talking about those things. There is, in most fantasy BDSM, there is like rules and rewards and stuff like that, which is more prominent in real BDSM, which you have to have. At this time, I don't have any, but when we move out, we're gonna have like that in our playroom, and it's gonna be awesome. We have a lot of ideas what we're gonna do with our playroom, and I'm so excited for when we move out. But yeah, more things that are more fantasy based are, in most like fantasy BDSM, which I think they're talking about like porn, because that's kind of what I'm going off. A lot of that in TV shows, or what people write in books, for BDSM is just more. A lot of it is, it's more dangerous. It sounds like in it, the things that are like normally not as horrible, or stop it, or not as bad, and like more extreme things that could get you extremely hurt, are deemed as something that's like, oh, that's like barely anything, and putting kind of thoughts in people's heads that doing these extreme things that could, and being a beginner and doing these extreme things is not, as you always want to know some things you have to research and all that stuff, which I've talked about before if you watched my other videos. But I guess my thing isn't plugged in. I don't have pants on, so it would not be a good idea too. But yeah, I'm gonna go on to the next one, and yeah, I love you guys.